Well, hey guys, thanks for finding my channel. This video I'm going to be repainting all my sea duck decoys. They're all going to be Scoters of some variety. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the boys shooting Scoters over these decoys before they get painted. They need their heads repainted. These get used here on the Chesapeake, and we use them out in the Delaware Bay as well for clients and for me and my buddies to hunt over. They're a little beat up. They don't all have heads. We'll start with their body, black coat, and then once that dries, we move on to the heads to get them all repainted so they're ready for next season. There's always something to do to get ready for next season. This is probably my least favorite thing to get ready for this season. What do you guys still have to do to get ready for your season? Put a comment down below. You'll notice some of them are missing heads, but honestly, sea ducks really don't care. We shoot them over decoys missing heads. They just like seeing that black and the ones that you mix the ones that don't have heads in with the ones that have heads, and they're still going to decoy real close and tight to you. So last time I used just a typical black paint. This time I'm going to use a truck bed liner for the paint so that they will hopefully be more durable. So this is only a small portion of the sea duck rig we'll run. We usually will run 3 to 4 dozen decoys on 3 to 4 lines. Just depends on the location, the day, what the current's doing. Typically have to do 2 to 3 coats of the black. Now it's time to paint these heads. So all my headless guys, I paint as white wing Scoters just to give that little bit of flash of white on there. But then everybody that's got a head goes as surf Scoters. So we're going to start with the heads. I use oil-based paints for all of the head details. Should last longer. And I do a clear coat of protectant over top. I usually just go to like Walmart and get my oil-based paints there in the craft section. That's usually the cheapest spot to find them. But now, I mean, I did the bodies of 16 or so of these Scoters this morning. We moved inside because there's storms coming this afternoon, so it'll help protect them as this paint dries. These surf Scoters just get the white patch on the back of the head, the white patch on the top, and then I come back and do the beak white patch after I paint the yellow and the red on the beak, because more than likely that's just going to get painted over where it's at. Most of these I have a mix of decoys. They're either plastic or foam or cork. I like the foamers a little bit better than the plastics because you shoot them, they still float. At this point, all of my plastic ones have been foam filled. They didn't all come foam filled when I bought them. I picked up 9 barrels of sea ducks off of Facebook a while ago and had to paint them once I got them. So this is the second time in 5 years that I've had to paint these decoys. They get abused. They get abused way more than my puddle ducks get abused. So this one's also painted as a white wing, just slightly different. They're a lot easier. They don't have nearly as much detail. But most of my ones with heads are all surfs. We don't see a ton of white wings. We get a few. We've shot 2 out in Delaware. We mainly see surfs and commons, scoters here in Delaware and Maryland. This oil-based paint takes a lot longer to dry than anything that I sprayed on. So a lot of times I do a color a day. So this can be a 3-day process for me to get all my sea ducks, to get one batch of sea ducks painted could be up to a 3-day process. Just the bill has so many colors on it that all have to go on top of each other. So you got to make sure that first coat's dry. But here's one you can see that I've drilled. It's even still running water out of it now. And these haven't been out. Well, they were living outside, but. And this one's actually in pretty good shape. They don't all get all beat up. I don't use them all every time. So this one may have only seen the water once or twice. Usually we run 3 to 4 dozen decoys when we run a spread for them. We like to put our boat in the middle and put the decoys on each side and be able to shoot both sides of the boat. And now we're going to move on to the bills. Still using oil-based paints. Walmart, there's usually a good variety pack that you can find that has a lot of the colors you'll use, blacks, whites. This yellow is pretty good for the bills on these guys. You might have to tint it a little bit with some white, lighten it up, but that's going to come down to what your preference is. Throw in a little bit of white. A lot of colors you gotta kind of almost mix by yourself. Gotta get artsy, bring out your artsiness. So we already did the whites on top, the eyeballs. We're saving the white on the bill until after we paint the reds and yellows on the bills. It's just a little easier. So what's cool about the Chesapeake Bay area that I hunt in a lot is you get such a variety of species. Anyone that's trying to go for the 41, I've shot 20 plus species here between Maryland and Delaware. They're close enough, and their first splits don't line up, so it's really easy to be able to extend your hunting season by buying both Delaware and Maryland licenses. The good thing is sea ducks are pretty dumb, so they don't have to look perfect. I know there's people that hunt there with just black. They'll throw black bottles out there or just straight up all black. I like having that little bit of color pop in there. We get birds to decoy really close to our boat. I mean, we've had them land 10 feet off the front of the boat before, so I think it helps, but it really comes down to what your preference is. This will probably be the last color that we get to paint today. And then we'll give it a day to dry, so probably tomorrow afternoon I'll be able to get back out here and put the red on these bills. And then after that, you know, they'll have another day, and then I'll get out here, do the white touches on the beaks, and pretty much these guys will be ready to go on the long line and get ready to be hunted. Do you guys want to see a video on how I rig all my long lines and keep them rigged? If so, let me know. Definitely shoot a video on that. A lot of mine are already rigged with downriggers or drops. My drops are a little short. I wish I had made them a little bit longer, but they work, and I don't feel like going back to redo them. So the benefit to a longer drop is that it'll keep your anchor rope further in the water column, so that anything flying a little bit higher, not right on the water, won't be able to see it. That rope won't float at the top. Won't float towards the top and catch weeds and that kind of stuff. But the issue with more rope is it's easier to get caught and tangled as you're going to set them out in the water. That's a white wing. You'll see a lot, or I got a couple decoys here that are missing heads, or I got some just spare heads. I've got to reattach them to bodies. These foamers and cork decoys, that's the one downside to them. They are a little more fragile. Sometimes you got to reattach the heads. Either the hardware rusted out or they just broke off and crumbled, because we hunt all salt. Even though we wash them afterwards, that salt takes a toll on everything. All right, now it's time to move on to the next color on the bill, and that is just going to be a simple red. The red that comes in my pack of paints is a little too light for my taste, almost a little too orangey, so I am going to throw a little bit of black into it, darken that up. Get that mixed up nicely. That was way too much black. Whoops. Whoops-a-daisy. Well, that red's out. I don't think that's savable. We're gonna have to restart that one. If I needed a brown, that'd be perfect, but I don't need brown. That's orange. I did say earlier you're going to have to get artsy and mix your own colors, so that's exactly what we're doing here. I'm starting to like that a little bit better. So now I'm doing this red part that's up on the middle of the bill. Well, it's the next day or so. I did the rest, or the majority of my Scoters at this point now too. I'm doing them all at once, get them done. Now we're going to be focusing on doing the white patches. If you have a small enough craft brush and that spot's already black, this will be the final step, because all you'll have to do is this white with your small brush and then let them dry. And then after a few days, make sure that paint is completely dry. You'll be able to do a clear coat on them. Make sure when you pick a clear coat that clear coat is more of a matte than a semi-gloss or a gloss, because if you go with the semi-gloss or gloss, they could shine in the sunlight while you're out there hunting flare birds. So if you don't want to go into as much detail on your Scoters like I do for these surfs, common Scoters are another good one that you could paint. They just have the orange cap on their bill, and can be pretty simple as well. Mine came as surf Scoters. I repainted them as surf Scoters for the most part. So that's kind of what I've just kept them as. I don't know why I haven't done any commons. I just haven't. We shoot a good mix of commons and surf Scoters where I hunt, but the end result is going to look something like that with that white little speck on the bill. And once you get done one, you just move through the rest of yours, get them all done, and after they're all painted, you'll want to put all your drops on, get them rigged, and then you got to decide how you want to keep them rigged and how you want to travel and store them. I'll shoot a video later on how I store, keep, and set all my long lines up. So make sure to check back for that. If you're not subscribed, you can subscribe and you'll know when I drop that video. Because it's definitely going to be a couple weeks before I shoot that one. I need to get all these decoys painted, but I'll shoot that when I go to put all these decoys away. Well, guys, thanks for following along. I hope this video helps somebody be able to paint their Scoters out there, be able to get them out in the water. Get out there, go have fun with your buddies, shoot some ducks.